It is the end of the year, which I thought would be a great time to talk about some of my favorite stuff of 2024. Now, this is not necessarily going to be a top 5, top 3, top whatever, because quite frankly, I couldn't always clearly decide if there was a top whatever. And I also want to preface with none of this stuff is necessarily in numerical order because it's all kind of different. It's kind of like comparing apples to oranges, but I do want to share with you my favorite apples and oranges. So that's what we're going to do today. My name is Dave. Thank you guys for checking out this video. This is going to be our last video of the year, and I am excited to be back here making content, doing what I love. It's been quite a journey this year. You can check out the channel for some of the other stuff. You can also check out our podcast. We do a podcast at the end of the month where we also incorporate some live Q&A. If you want to check out the podcast live, we record that and stream it at the end of every month. Stay tuned for that. Plus, we also upload it wherever you get your podcasts. You can email your questions, all that good, happy stuff. And I do have to thank Global and Slip 2000 for supporting the show. But let's get to it. What was some of my favorite stuff that I got in 2024? Now, I don't know why it took me so long to do these. Actually, I think this is kind of fun. So some stuff is I got a new knife. And having a good quality knife as part of your EDC is really important. And I had a knife that I loved. It was a Lion Steel PM2. It was a limited edition. And unfortunately, I lost it. And I finally found a replacement that I am happy with. I went through like 4 different knives. And this is where it is at. This is the Microtech. It's part of their 210 series. And what I really like about it is it has what they call the ram lock. Ram lock. So it has a really solid locking mechanism right here. So I don't have to worry about anything happening to the knife while I'm using it. It's already kind of cruddy because I've been using it. So it opens really easily with the thumb. Or it's so smooth that you can even give it a quick little flick of the wrist. It works legit, but it is very comfortable. When I was looking through knives, I would go to all sorts of knife stores and whatever, trying to find a knife that had the ergonomics of like the Lion Steel, and this one has it. So it's very comfortable in the hand. Plus, it has this cutout right here. I think that's called the choil or something like that. So I can kind of choke up when I was doing fine work in the woods or trying to start a fire and doing a little whittling, is that what you call it, to make your kindling? But anyways, this thing has it. So everything about it is just about perfect with the exception of a window breaker. I wish opposite of the reversible belt clip, it had like a little window breaker that would protrude right here. Then it would also be a really good like duty or carry flashlight as well. But these are awesome. These are like in the mid 200s, give or take. But I've been really happy. This has been my EDC knife. Love the Microtech. So kudos to, also I think it was Ray from the X-Ring, who also does some work for Microtech, was kind of confirmed my purchase. So that's really awesome. Speaking of EDC, this is the SureFire Stiletto Pro II, and this is my new EDC flashlight. It has 2 light emitting diodes, LEDs, plus lenses. Now I was talking to the SureFire guys because I got this from SureFire, and in order for them to get the throw and the beam and everything, they had to have 2 basically working together because you're limited with the optic size in relation to like the chip or the emitter. But this thing is pretty sweet. It is super bright. As far as like the tactical side of an EDC light with the throw, legit. High, this is almost bright enough to be a duty light, but it has these buttons on the side where you can program it. So like I have it come on high, and then one more click is medium, one more click is low, which is great for when you're searching and looking for something like in the back of your car or whatever. And both beams activate on all modes. And then of course, like everything should be in life, it is USB-C rechargeable, which is great. Everything should be USB-C, and you can do different things with the modes as far as like programming one button to do this, that. I just like it simple, on, off, go from there. My one gripe with it though is that I wish the back was a little bit more protected, this little area here. I wish it was a little bit more protected because every now and again in my pocket something might bump the button. So I wish it had a little bit more spring resistance, and I wish it did momentary, like so you could use it in more of a tactical environment. Right now you press it, or even if you press and hold it, and then if you let go it's basically still on. So that would be kind of cool. But this thing is super awesome, but these are not cheap at all either, so might have some other options as well. But if you're looking for like most expensive bang for your buck EDC light, this is it. Another piece of equipment that I've been using literally every time I go to the range is the Kestrel KST 1000 shot timer. This thing has been bomb-proof. I've used it in the rain, in the snow, inside, outside. Huge big screen, another top screen, so whether you have it like on your vest or gear or whatever, and a loud beep, everybody can hear it when you're doing group drills or whatever. I've been using this thing teaching all my classes this year, and it has been a beast. I'm going to do a full detailed review on this, but by far, this is the best shot timer I've ever used. The only thing I wish is that number one, it would come in neon green, of course, but number two, I wish it had a side button, but we'll get into more of that. But it has Bluetooth, it has this huge screen to recall strings, it has a memory function, so like if all of a sudden a shooter 3 people ago says, hey, what was my time? I can easily look back on this big display. The thing is legit. This is my favorite shot timer. I'll have links to some of this stuff in the description. It might be affiliates and that kind of thing, so keep that in mind. But this thing has been awesome. Other cool gear that will never go wrong with, first thing first, you got to clean and take care of your stuff, right? And that brings us to the biggest supporter of the channel right now, which is Slip 2000. I use their stuff exclusively for cleaning and lubrication purposes. And if you guys use the code right up there, maybe it's up there, I think it's that way, it's going to save you 20% on all of your orders. Slip 2000 is legit. It's the best lube I've used so far, and I've tested it all. Every time I get a new one, I do a cold weather test, I do whatever, and I always keep coming back to EWL. It works in the cold, works in the heat. This is legit stuff, and that code's going to save you some money. So Slip 2000 for all of your cleaning needs. For all of your Freedom Seed needs, man, I love getting more of this in the mail, right? Whether you're looking for sterling steel, whether you're looking for Ingman or Bellum or whatever, I always love enjoying a beverage in this Global Ordnance coffee cup. So this Global Ordnance coffee cup is a great way to keep your beverages hot or cold for your loading magazines. But seriously, Global Ordnance, can't thank them enough for their support. If you guys head on over to my website, I do have more information, links, and codes. That's learningfirearms.com, which you can also learn about our training. My full-time job is training. I go all around the country training people. I do a lot of government and contract stuff right now, but I would love to come to your range or organization to do a class for you. Let's make it happen. So you can learn more about training, learn more about all this stuff at our website, which is super awesome because I always try to take good care of you guys' stuff and not steer you wrong. Let's get into handguns. I got some handguns this year, and I suppose I'll start with some of my favorites. Now, I didn't do this video last year, even though I did some other videos earlier this year, but one of my favorite guns that I got to shoot this year was this guy from BUL Armory. This is the TAC Pro. This is a 5-inch. This is their SAS2 series of guns, but this thing is legit. It has been awesome gun. I have over 6,000 rounds through this thing. At the time of the review, it was closer to like 4,000, but I've used it in classes. These big ports on the top, it's a V8 porting from the factory. Virtually a recoil delete, smooth action, great trigger out of the box, and it's kind of a hybrid curve. It's not super flat, but it's not truly flat, and it's not super curved is what I'm trying to say, but it's a nice hybrid that's very comfortable. Overall, this gun was a great gun to shoot, and they have a lot of cool stuff in the works, so this is definitely one of the tops on my list. A ported gun from the factory at an attractive price. These are like the mid-2s. Their optic mounting system is solid, very accurate guns. BUL Armory is on the list. Speaking of 1911 style pistols, I do also want to give a shout out to Staccato for coming out with the Staccato C. I got to shoot one of these at a media event. I put like 1,500 rounds through one of the samples. I have a compact one on demo. And then I also have this one that I went out and bought. This is the full-size grip. And what I like what Staccato is doing is they're trying to evolve their 2011 lineup. Number one, they are improving the magazine. This is their V3 platform magazine. So this is made right from the get-go to be a 9mm, not like the 2011, which started as a 45. And then back in the day, we had to have spacers and mag tuning and all that. So they've gotten so much better on their own. But then they have these magazines, which are purpose-built to be 9mm. And they had, some of them had little bugs out of the box. With some of like the earlier CS guns, but I think they're going to work on that to really try to improve these. But what we're kind of hopefully have happen in the future is a new magazine platform for the V3 guns, and I think we're going to see more V3 type guns coming around at SHOT Show. But it has an external extractor. They changed the barrel lockup a little bit. There's some kind of stuff going on under the hood, but as far as like an F-150 do-all gun, that's what they're really trying to have the C be. If you want a full-size grip for training, duty, great. You can have the compact grip for carry, same slide, but these guns shoot really well. I still think my Staccato P shoots a hair better, but for an aluminum 4-inch gun, this thing shoots really nice. Like I said, I liked it so much that I went out and bought one. So this is the C. I've actually been shooting a couple iron sight drills, but I'm gonna get a red dot put on this, and I've been waiting to make a video on that. All right, last 9mm gun kind of surprised me. It's not a 2011, 1911 type gun. This is from Kimber, and when they sent this, I was a little surprised. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but this is part of their R7 Mako. This is the Carbon Compact, and this is a striker-fired gun that shoots really well. It's a Glock 19 type gun, but it's very slim. The profile of the gun is very slim, but the ergonomics are what really sold me. First, right away, picking up the gun, the ergonomics of the grip, the texture is all really nice for a carry texture, but look at that undercut. That's like super aggressive. That's like beyond aftermarket. And you can get a nice purchase on that gun to really control recoil. Also, what I really liked about the gun, the trigger, legit. For a striker-fired gun, out of the box, it feels great. It feels better than any Glock stock trigger. I'm just going to say that. So this has been a fun gun to shoot. I'm going to have a full video on this guy. This was an optics package. It came in the box with the Holosun 407K, so ready to rock and roll. And the Zero was actually pretty close. I don't know if they zero them at the factory or not, but mine was pretty close. But the comfort and the ergonomics and the shootability of the gun made it definitely worth one of the top guns that I got to shoot this year. So full video on this will be coming soon. Last, certainly not the least handgun, is this guy from Volquartsen. This is the Black Mamba. It's a 22 target series gun, and let me tell you, not only does it look good, it shoots good. A lot of cool stuff going on with this. If you're looking for a high-end 22, boom, got you covered. Just get this one, you won't regret it. But the action is smooth. Now this one's a little dirty, so there's a little bit going on there, but the bolt, they have this nice hard coat finish. I can't remember if it's nitride. I'd have to double check. It's either nitride or DLC, but ergonomics, I'm actually probably going to swap to a 1911 grip panel, but they come with the what is it? Hogue, that's what it is. Hogue grip. It uses a 2245 type platform, so you can get it from magazines, but they put their spin on it with these awesome base pads. The ergos are good because it's a 2245. They had good ergos from the factory, but the top end is where they do all their magic. This receiver is meticulously machined, super accurate gun, cycles really well, has a comp, recoil delete, plus it's threaded underneath. But the other cool thing is the optic mounting platform. Now this is a 22. We don't have to worry about lugs and things like that. We're talking about a 22. Let's be realistic. But these different screw holes here, you can move that optic up, down, wherever you want it. So I have it back closer towards the back of the slide, or what would be the slide. It doesn't have a slide, it just has a bolt that moves back and forth. But if you wanted your optic more forward, if you wanted it more forward towards the muzzle, it basically has all the different pattern screws from RMR to Delta Point to, you know, common top mounted screw options to really get exactly what you want. You take out the little set screws, you put your optic on, boom, you're good to go. But this thing has been an incredibly fun gun to shoot. I mean, seriously, it's a 22 pistol. What's not to love? So those are some of my top handguns and other stuff. Let's get into another accessory quick. I've gotten some new stuff this year, and on the suppressor side, I've gotten the HUXWRX 556 tie. Now, I first, I think, saw this at, I think it was at SHOT Show, maybe NRA, but the Flow 556 tie, and it's a lightweight flow-through can. This is my first HUXWRX can, my first flow-through from them. I have, I believe it's the Replicator, that's also a really good can, but this thing has been pretty good. I've used it in only a couple classes that I was teaching for demos, but so far it's been pretty good. It's nice and lightweight. By the time you start to hang stuff off the end of your gun, I actually appreciate the few ounces that a titanium can saves. Muzzle devices are very simple. It's basically just a coarse Acme thread that's reverse threaded, so it's lefty tighty, righty loosey, so that way as you're loosening, you know, or taking it off, I should say, you're actually going against the muzzle device, or, you know, tightening the muzzle device, but works out really good. I got my rifle speed gas block, that's a couple years old, and I got this on a JP SBR, so overall this has been a really good package, and I've been happy with the suppressor so far. So speaking of long guns, one of the long guns that I got to check out and shoot at TriggerCon is the Monolith from Global Ordnance. Now, I know what you're saying, Dave, you just talked about Global Ordnance. Yes, they are a supporter of the channel. So when it came to this gun at TriggerCon, when we were voting, I actually withheld my vote because I didn't want to be biased. But this actually won Most Innovative Long Gun at TriggerCon. And why? A lot of cool stuff going on. Number one, it has a folding, we'll start from the back. Number one, folding stock. You can shoot it from the back positions because it's a bufferless design, so that's pretty cool. Kind of beyond the AR, if you will. AR ergonomics and controls, except for, oh wait, they're ambi controls. So if we look at the right side of the gun, we have our mag release, bolt catch, bolt release. If we were to lock the bolt back to the rear, we actually just push on the bottom of the bolt release, which is cool. I can do that while I'm maintaining my hand on fire controls. And then to release the bolt, we would just simply press on the ejection port cover, and that would send the bolt forward. So easy to use as a right-handed shooter. On the left side, we do have a mag release, bolt catch, bolt release, which you can pretty much almost reach with your left-handed index finger, depending on how big a hand's, and if you wanted to keep hands on support controls. Moving forward, it is a side charging gun. And then what's really cool though is the monolith part. So the barrel from the back to the gas block to the muzzle device is actually machined out of one piece of material. That's where the monolith comes from. Has an angled gas port, which again, no ever have to worry about a gas block coming loose or shifting or anything like that. It's because it's machined as part of the barrel. The muzzle device is part of the barrel. So this is great for states that restrict threaded barrels. If that's a feature, boom, you don't have a threaded barrel, but you have a suppressor mount. And they're going to adapt this technology to other products in the future, but I don't have to worry about my muzzle device ever coming loose because it's part of the barrel. And this is a dead air chemo. I have a lot of dead air suppressors. I love their stuff. But overall, the ergonomics, the performance of the gun, I'm gonna have a full video out on this as well. But I've been really liking the Monolith, and what makes it really cool is that it's feature packed for about 11 or 12 hundo, which is pretty solid in the AR market. Pretty awesome gun. That's one of my top guns as well. All right, last, certainly not least, I think that's everything, right? I got to shoot this at TriggerCon as well, and this actually won Best in Show at TriggerCon. This is from Genesis Arms. This is the Gen 12 Personal Defense Shotgun, or PDS. Seriously, based off of a large frame AR receiver set, so LR308, AR10, whatever, LR308, but this thing, seriously, a semi-auto shotgun, what's not to love? It functions like an AR fire controls, right? So we don't have to worry about retraining safety, mag release, and then it has a rotating bolt for the semi-auto function. So it's a reliable, easy to use shotgun that has all of our AR ergonomics. And what's cool is we have 5-round magazines, easy peasy, 5 rounds on tap, or 10-round magazines. 10 rounds of double-aught Buck or slug, and yes, YouTube, if you're watching, this is a 10-round magazine, so it is standard capacity. But what brings this thing is this is a 2-stamper. Not only is it a short barrel shotgun, but it is also a suppressor from HUXWRX. And how they engineered the suppressor to kind of interface with the rail, so that way the barrel is, there's doing some magic underneath the hood. Like shooting this at TriggerCon, we shot this full auto, and it was just legit. Like this thing ran for, I don't know how many thousands of rounds they put through it at the show, but I didn't see it stop at all. And I shot it several times, as did many other people. But the suppressor integrates with the rail as kind of the innovation. So that way it's not just threaded in like a choke tube threading or anything like that. But they're saying that the performance, the patterning is equivalent to about an 18-inch barrel traditional shotgun. So we're going to compare that in the upcoming full review. Plus, with that suppressor, it just takes the bark off. Now, I've only shot this about 50 rounds so far. When I first came in, I had to get it to the range, but it was right before a trip, so I was just like, I got to burn through some rounds, and I just went through some buckshot. And it was a lot of fun to shoot. And the suppressor does take the edge off. Is it like how they would quiet? No, we're talking about a 6-inch barrel shotgun here, dudes. It's still gonna be a loud gun, but pretty awesome indeed. I mean, who doesn't want a semi-auto suppressed shotgun? Nobody that I wanna hang out with. All right, dudes. That's going to wrap it up. That's my top stuff of 2024. I'm super excited to show you some of my faves. What was some of your favorite gear? And plus, we have SHOT Show coming up. So the beginning of the year, SHOT Show, biggest trade show. We're going to start to see new stuff coming. What are you excited for? What were you excited for 24? What do you want to talk about? Because our next podcast is going to be all about SHOT Show. That'll be the end of the month. So make sure you subscribe to that. You can also get your podcast wherever you get your podcast, or some of them are pending approval yet. But we'd love to see you there. If you want to join that, it's the QA. No, regular. If you want to join that, it's QA@learningfirearms.com. You can email your question into the show. We answer that if you can't catch it live. So QA@learningfirearms.com. And again, if you want to train with us, things like that, check out the website. Also, if you want to support the channel, help me keep the lights on, deal with hard drives, software licenses, all that kind of stuff, the best way to to do so is through our Patreon community. Plus, we also give away prizes to our patrons. We give them some swag, we give them dibs on prizes. Some of the stuff that I review on the channel, I give away to those patrons, and it really does help us. That's our Patreon community. So if you want to support them, you can click on the link below. And I really appreciate you guys for watching. If you guys want to check out other stuff, check out my full detailed review video on the BUL Armory by clicking this video over here. And this video there is one that YouTube thinks you would like, but that BUL Armory is a phenomenal pistol. I had a lot of fun shooting it. And then also click to subscribe if you haven't already. Take care.